The final stand. The stars bled crimson across the Orion Arm as Admiral Sarah Chen watched another human colony world burn. Through the reinforced viewport of the battleship Indomitable, she witnessed the Exarathi war fleet systematically dismantling humanity's defenses. 3 months of constant retreat, and now they stood at Sigma Draconis, Earth's last major outpost beyond the core systems. "Admiral, we've lost contact with the 7th Fleet," reported Lieutenant James Rivera, his young face pale beneath the bridge's emergency lighting. "Colony ship New Hope is requesting immediate evacuation." Chen's weathered hands gripped the command rail. At 57, she'd seen her share of conflicts, but nothing like this systematic annihilation. The Exarathi Alliance had appeared from beyond the galactic rim 18 months ago, their crystalline ships tearing through human space like a plague. "Tell them to hold position," she ordered, voice steady despite the weight of command. "We can't spare any ships for evacuation." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew what that meant. Another 30,000 civilians abandoned to the Exarathi's mercy. If the aliens even understood the concept. On the tactical display, red icons swarmed like angry wasps. The Exarathi outnumbered them 20-1, their technology decades ahead of anything humanity possessed. Each crystalline warship was a masterpiece of destruction, capable of unleashing plasma storms that could crack planetary crusts. Energy spike detected. Rivera's voice cut through the tension. "Unknown origin, bearing 270 Mark 45. Chen turned sharply. "Exarathi reinforcements." "Negative. Admiral. The signature. It's not matching any known pattern." Rivera's fingers danced across his console. "It's coming from deep space, beyond our sensor range." Captain Maria Volkov's voice crackled over the comm from orbital station horizon. "Admiral, we're down to 30% ammunition. Shield generators are failing. I've got wounded stacked in the corridors, and my medics are out of supplies." Chen closed her eyes briefly. Volkov was one of her best officers, a veteran of the Mars uprising. If she was this desperate, "Hold your position, Maria. That's all I can ask." "Understood, Admiral." Volkov out. The Indomitable shuddered as another wave of Exarathi fighters swept past, their energy weapons scoring deep gouges in the hull. Damage reports flooded in, decks venting atmosphere, engines at 60%, casualties mounting. "Sir." Rivera's voice held a note of something Chen hadn't heard in months. "Hope. I'm receiving a transmission. It's using old Earth military encryption. Pre-colonial era. Put it through." Static filled the bridge, then a voice emerged, deep, resonant, speaking with an accent Chen couldn't place. "All Earth forces, this is Vanguard Command. Hold fast. The sleepers awaken. Repeat, hold fast. We are coming." The transmission ended as abruptly as it began. For a moment, no one moved. "Vanguard," Chen whispered. "That's impossible." She'd heard the stories, of course. Every officer had. Legends of a secret military force hidden away during humanity's first steps into space. A contingency plan so classified that even fleet admirals weren't briefed on its existence. But they were just stories, tales to inspire cadets during dark times. "Admiral." The sensor officer's voice cracked. Multiple quantum signatures detected. They're huge." On the tactical display, new contacts appeared, blue icons emerging from the void like ghosts. Not dozens, but hundreds, ships of unknown configuration, their energy signatures unlike anything in the database. The Exarathi advance faltered. For the first time since the war began, their perfectly coordinated assault showed hesitation. "All ships," Chen commanded, feeling something stir in her chest, a sensation she'd almost forgotten. "Hope. Form defensive perimeter around Horizon Station. Whatever's coming, we hold until they arrive." As her orders went out, the mysterious signatures grew stronger. The battlefield that had seemed so certain of humanity's defeat now trembled with possibility. Earth's children had fought alone for too long, but perhaps their ancestors had planned for this day. The Exerethi commander, Krell, observed the human fleet's sudden change in formation. These primitives had fought with desperate courage, but courage alone couldn't win wars. Yet something in their movements now spoke of renewed purpose. Tactical, Krell's translated voice resonated through the command chamber. Analyze the new energy signatures. Unknown configuration, Commander. They do not match any recorded human technology. Krell's crystalline form pulsed with irritation. The humans were full of surprises, but surprises could be crushed like everything else. On Horizon Station, Captain Volkov rallied her exhausted crew. Listen up. Command says help is coming. I don't know what kind of help, but we're going to be alive to see it. Sergeant Williams, get those wounded moved to the inner decks. Lieutenant Zhao, I want every available weapon system online. Sergeant Hope Williams, her armor scarred from countless battles, moved among the injured. You heard the captain. We're not done yet. Earth remembers her children, even out here in the black. The wounded soldiers, many barely able to stand, found strength in her words. They'd heard whispers of ancient protectors, of contingencies laid down by the first space explorers, stories their grandparents told, of sleeper ships hidden in the dark between stars. Back on the Indomitable, Dr. Elena Martinez stared at her sensor readings in disbelief. Admiral, these quantum signatures, they're using technology that shouldn't exist. The energy output alone defies our understanding of physics. Chen studied the approaching contacts. They moved with purpose, their formation speaking of long practice and deadly intent. Whatever they were, they flew like predators closing on prey. Lieutenant Rivera, any success contacting them? Negative, Admiral. They're not responding to standard hails. But he paused. I'm detecting what might be tactical data streams. They're coordinating with our fleet computers, updating our targeting solutions. As the mysterious signals grew stronger, the Exerethi formation began to shift. Their crystalline ships, so confident moments ago, now moved with what Chen could only interpret as uncertainty. The first of the unknown vessels emerged from quantum space, a massive construct of dark metal and pulsing energy fields. It dwarfed even the largest Exerethi dreadnought, its design speaking of purpose beyond mere warfare. More ships followed, each unique yet clearly part of a greater whole. They moved with fluid grace, taking positions that would maximize the human fleet's defensive capabilities while creating overlapping fields of fire. Admiral, Rivera's voice was barely a whisper. They're transmitting identification codes. These ships, they're human. Chen felt her throat tighten. What designation? Terran Vanguard Fleet. Authorization codes check out. They're valid, just, ancient, pre-first expansion era. Around them, the battle continued to rage, but something fundamental had shifted. The Exerethi, so assured of victory, now faced an unknown variable. Their perfectly executed assault began to show cracks, hesitation creeping into their movements. On every human ship, on every besieged station, soldiers and civilians alike watched as their legends materialized from the void. The stories were true. Earth had not sent her children to the stars unprotected. Admiral Chen straightened her uniform, squaring her shoulders. Whatever happened next, humanity would face it together. The children of Earth and their long-lost guardians. All ships, she broadcast, prepare to coordinate with Vanguard forces. It's time to show that Exerethi what happens when you threaten Earth's children. The battlefield trembled, not with fear, but with anticipation. The true test was about to begin. Whispers of the forgotten. Commander Alexei Petrov hadn't slept in 36 hours. Deep in the archives of the Indomitable, surrounded by data crystals and ancient storage drives, he searched for answers. The Vanguard's appearance had triggered security protocols he didn't know existed, unlocking files sealed for centuries. Computer, display all records related to Project Sentinel, authorization Petrov Alpha 77. The holographic display flickered, revealing documents that predated the colonial expansion. Petrov's tired eyes widened as he read. Project Sentinel. In the event of extinction-level threat to humanity, automated systems will activate the Vanguard Protocol. Hidden in quantum stasis beyond known space, these forces represent humanity's final safeguard. On the bridge, Admiral Chen coordinated with the newly arrived forces. The Vanguard ships had taken position around the human fleet, their weapon systems creating an impenetrable shield against Xerathi attacks. Vanguard Command, this is Admiral Chen. Request communication with your commanding officer. Static. Then that same resonant voice. Admiral Chen. Commander Marcus Vale, Terran Vanguard. We've been monitoring the situation since the Xerathi incursion began. Apologies for the delay. Awakening protocols are complex. Commander Vale, your timing is appreciated. Can you brief us on your capabilities? Our ships operate on principles your science hasn't rediscovered yet. Quantum entanglement drives, temporal shielding, directed singularity weapons. We were built for one purpose, to ensure humanity's survival when all else fails. In the Xerathi command ship, Supreme Commander Krell observed the newcomers with growing unease. The crystalline being's form pulsed with agitation as sensor data poured in. These vessels defy analysis, reported the science-cased leader. Their power signatures suggest manipulation of fundamental forces, gravity, time, quantum mechanics. We have encountered nothing like this in our conquests. Krell's response was cut short as one of the Vanguard ships demonstrated its capabilities. A beam of twisted space-time lanced out, striking a Xerathi dreadnought. The massive crystal ship didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist, erased from reality as if it had never been. Impossible, Krell whispered. Even the ancients did not wield such power. On Horizon Station, Sergeant Hope Williams watched the tide turn through a viewport. The exhausted defenders had been preparing for a last stand, but now they witnessed something unprecedented, the Xerathi retreating. "Would you look at that?" she murmured to a wounded private. "The monsters are learning fear." The young soldier, barely out of training, managed a weak smile. "Sergeant, those ships, are they really ours?" Williams nodded. "Every culture has its legends, kid. Turns out ours were just sleeping, waiting for the right nightmare to wake them up." Dr. Elena Martinez worked feverishly at her science station, trying to comprehend the technology before her. "Admiral, the Vanguard ships aren't just advanced. They're operating on scientific principles we've only theorized about. Temporal manipulation, controlled quantum tunneling, even what appears to be localized reality alteration." "English, Doctor," Chen replied, not taking her eyes off the tactical display. "They're rewriting the laws of physics in real time. Each ship is essentially creating its own universe with custom rules. It's like magic, but with math." The battle had transformed into something surreal. Xerathi ships, once graceful predators, now fled in disorder. Vanguard vessels pursued with methodical precision, herding the aliens away from human space. "Commander Vale," Chen called out, "what are your rules of engagement?" "The Xerathi are retreating. Our directive is clear, Admiral. Any force that threatens human extinction must be neutralized. The Xerathi have demonstrated genocidal intent. They will be pursued to their source and eliminated." Lieutenant Rivera looked up from his console. "Admiral, I'm detecting massive energy buildups in the Vanguard ships. They're preparing for something big." As if in response, Commander Vale's voice filled the bridge. "Admiral Chen, we're about to demonstrate why the Vanguard was created. Please ensure your ships maintain current positions. What you're about to witness may be disturbing." The largest Vanguard ship, a behemoth designated as Prometheus Unbound, moved to the forefront. Its hull began to shift and reconfigure, revealing weapon arrays that defied conventional understanding. "Quantum cascade initiated," Vale announced, targeting Xerathi origin point beyond the galactic rim. A column of impossible light erupted from the Prometheus, piercing through space itself. Where it touched, reality warped and twisted. The beam extended beyond sensor range, reaching across the gulf between galaxies. Direct hit confirmed, Vale reported moments later. Cerethi homeworld and primary fleet bases eliminated. Their civilization has been reduced. The bridge of the Indomitable fell silent. The implications were staggering. In moments, the Vanguard had ended a war that threatened to destroy humanity, reaching across intergalactic space to strike at an enemy's heart. "My God," Chen whispered. "You destroyed their entire civilization." "Negative, Admiral. We eliminated their military capability and governing structure. Surviving Cerethi populations have been given a simple choice: never again threaten humanity or face complete extinction. The message has been clearly delivered." Across the battlefield, the remaining Cerethi ships powered down their weapons and began broadcasting surrender signals. The crystalline beings, so confident in their superiority hours ago, now faced the reality of their position. "Commander Vale," Chen asked carefully, "if you possessed such power, why wait? Why let so many humans die?" "The Vanguard Protocol has strict parameters, Admiral. We could only act when humanity faced true extinction. Lesser threats must be handled by the current generation. We are the final option, not the first response." In his archive research, Commander Petrov found the answer in an ancient document. The Vanguard exists not to fight humanity's wars, but to ensure humanity survives to fight another day. They will watch, they will wait, and they will act only when all hope is lost. For in struggle we grow, in defeat we learn, but in extinction all is lost. Sergeant Williams gathered her troops on Horizon Station. "Listen up. The cavalry's here, but that doesn't mean we slack off. These Vanguard folks saved our asses, but we need to prove we were worth saving." The wounded soldiers straightened, pride replacing despair. They had held the line long enough for legends to become reality. Dr. Martinez continued her analysis. "Admiral, I'm detecting something else. The Vanguard ships are transmitting data packets to our systems. Technological specifications, scientific principles, medical advances. They're sharing their knowledge." Commander Vale's voice confirmed her observation. "Correct, Doctor. Our mission includes elevating humanity's capabilities to prevent future extinction threats. The data we're providing will advance your civilization by approximately 300 years. Why not more?" Chen asked. "Because growth must be earned, Admiral. Too much, too fast, and a civilization destroys itself. We provide tools, not solutions. The rest is up to you." As the immediate crisis passed, questions emerged. Who had created the Vanguard? How long had they watched from the shadows? And what other contingencies might exist in the depths of space? The Cerethi threat had been neutralized, but the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity now knew it had protectors. Ancient guardians who slept between the stars, waiting for the moment when Earth's children truly needed them. But with that knowledge came responsibility. The Vanguard had shown what humanity could become, but also what it must never become: a force that answers challenges with annihilation. Admiral Chen looked out at the transformed battlefield. "Commander Vale, what happens now?" "Now, Admiral, we return to our vigil. But know this, we will always be watching. Earth's children are never alone." The Vanguard ships began to power down their visible systems, preparing to return to their hidden bases. But their presence had changed everything. The galaxy now knew that humanity, for all its apparent weakness, held powers beyond imagination. And in the silence between stars, other races took note. The humans were not to be trifled with. Not now, not ever. The Awakening Protocol. The full majesty of the Vanguard fleet materialized from quantum space like ghosts becoming solid. Admiral Chen counted over 300 vessels, each unique in design yet clearly part of a unified force. At their center, the Prometheus Unbound dwarfed everything else. A city-sized construct of impossible geometry and pulsing energy fields. Admiral. Commander Vale's voice resonated across the bridge. Permission to come aboard. There are matters we must discuss face to face. Chen straightened her uniform. Permission granted, Commander. Docking Bay 7 is prepared. The being that stepped onto the Indomitable defied expectations. Marcus Vale appeared human, yet something in his bearing spoke of centuries lived. His uniform was simple, bearing no rank insignia, only a symbol Chen didn't recognize, a spiral galaxy embraced by protective wings. Admiral Chen. Vale extended his hand. It's an honor to meet you. Your defense of humanity has been inspiring. Commander, forgive my directness, but who are you? Who are the Vanguard? Vale smiled, a gesture that held both warmth and infinite sadness. We are humanity's children, Admiral. The first children sent to the stars not to explore, but to protect. In the conference room, surrounded by Chen's senior staff, Vale revealed the truth. 300 years ago, during the First Contact War, humanity faced extinction. The Rethaxi Empire nearly succeeded where the Exarathi failed. In desperation, Earth's leaders initiated Project Sentinel. Dr. Martinez leaned forward. The First Contact War lasted only 2 years. History says we won through diplomacy. History was edited, Vale replied. The war lasted 12 years. We lost Mars, Europa, and most of the Belt colonies. In the final days, 10,000 volunteers underwent extensive modification, genetic, cybernetic, and psychological. We became something more than human, yet forever bound to humanity's protection. Commander Petrov's research suddenly made sense. The generation ships. They weren't colony vessels. Vale nodded. Correct. They were Vanguard carriers, sent beyond known space to establish hidden bases. We've watched and waited, intervening only when absolutely necessary. How many times? Chen asked quietly. 17 extinction-level threats in 3 centuries. The Exarathi were the 18th. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had survived not through luck or diplomacy, but because guardian angels watched from the dark. The technology you've shared, Martinez began, it's revolutionary. But you said we must earn growth. What does that mean? Vale stood, walking to the viewport. Outside, Vanguard ships coordinated with human vessels, repairing damage and evacuating wounded. Technology without wisdom is suicide, Doctor. We provide tools and knowledge, but humanity must choose how to use them. The Rethaxi learned that lesson. They became dependent on their technology, lost their drive to grow. When crisis came, they couldn't adapt. And now? Chen asked. Will you stay? No. The Vanguard returns to the shadows, but we've activated certain protocols. Your military academies will find new training programs. Your scientists will discover lost research. Your explorers will stumble upon caches of supplies and technology, all carefully placed to guide, not control. Lieutenant Rivera had been quiet throughout the briefing. Now he spoke. Commander, the quantum signatures we detected, they indicate temporal manipulation. How long have you really been watching us? Vale's smile widened. Time is flexible, Lieutenant. Let's just say we've had plenty of it to prepare. On the bridge of the last Exarathi command ship, Supreme Commander Krell faced a reality beyond comprehension. The crystalline beam's form had lost its luster, patterns of defeat rippling through its structure. Send the message, Krell commanded. All Exarathi forces are to withdraw beyond the rim. Mark human space as forbidden for 10,000 cycles. Supreme Commander, the tactical officer protested. We still outnumber. You did not see what I saw, Krell interrupted. These humans wield powers that challenge the fundamental nature of reality. They destroyed our homeworld from across the galactic void. We are fortunate they chose to spare any of us. As Sarathi ships began their long retreat, Krell contemplated the nature of strength. The humans had seemed weak, divided, primitive. Yet they had survived the attention of beings who transcended conventional understanding of power. Back on Horizon Station, Sergeant Williams coordinated with Vanguard medical teams. Soldiers who hours ago faced certain death now received treatment from technologies that bordered on miraculous. Nanocellular regeneration, a Vanguard medic explained as she healed a Marine's severed spine. The body remembers its perfect state. We simply remind it. Williams watched in amazement as the paralyzed soldier stood and walked. Why share this with us now? The medic, who appeared no older than 20 yet moved with ancient grace, smiled. Because you've earned it, Sergeant. Every life saved today proves humanity's worth. In the indomitable science lab, Dr. Martinez and her team pored over Vanguard data. Equations that had puzzled humanity for generations unfolded with elegant simplicity. Theoretical physics became engineering blueprints. This changes everything, Martinez whispered. Faster than light travel without relativity constraints, energy generation from quantum foam, even limited manipulation of local space-time. Commander Vale appeared beside her, moving with silence that defied physics. Remember, Doctor, knowledge is a tool. How you use it defines your civilization. Admiral Chen found Vale on the observation deck as the Vanguard prepared to depart. The massive ships were powering down their visible systems, fading like morning stars at dawn. "Will we see you again?" she asked. "Perhaps, perhaps not. But know this, Admiral, we never truly leave. When humanity faces its darkest hour, when all hope seems lost, remember that you are not alone. The Vanguard endures. And if we fail, if we misuse what you've given us," Vale's expression grew serious, "then we will return, not as saviors, but as judges. The power to protect includes the power to correct. Choose wisely." As the Vanguard fleet began to phase out of normal space, messages flooded in from across human territory. The Xerathi retreat was complete. Worlds thought lost reported survivors emerging from hidden shelters. Somehow, the Vanguard had known where every human life struggled to survive. "Commander," Chen called out as Vale prepared to transport back to his ship, "one last question. Are you still human?" Vale paused at the threshold. "We are what humanity needed us to become, Admiral. Neither fully human nor entirely other. We are the bridge between what you are and what you might become, and we have faith that one day you won't need us anymore." With those words, he vanished. The Vanguard ships completed their phase transition, leaving behind only quantum echoes and the gifts they had bestowed.